Today's topic is the lifestyle of a military spouse. I'm going to speak about what I've seen, but primarily speaking on my family, my spouse, and the information as well. So, one of the questions that somebody asked me is, can your spouse, if he or she is a civilian, have a career? The answer is yes. They can have a full-time job, a full-time career, or a part-time job. But if you're active duty, remember that you're going to move every 3, 4, 5 years or so. So the best thing to do is have a plan, communicate, adjust as needed, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But one of the things that I would highly recommend as a former financial counselor is if your spouse works part-time or a full-time job, whether it's a full-blown career or not, the best thing that you can do is live off your income, the service member, because when you move, he or she most likely will lose their job, and it may take them 3, 4, 5, 6 months at the next base to find a job, or find a job that at least pays similar to what you were earning at your previous base. The reason is, I used to speak with people and they were financially strapped. They would say, we were overseas, we were getting cost of living allowance, which is COLA, let's say $700 extra, tax-free, and my husband or wife was working, bringing in $1,500 or $2,000, whatever that may be per month, and now we're just living off the service member. I know it's possible to live off the service member's income because I used to do it as a young airman for many years. In fact, I've done it the entire career, 21 years almost. Right around the corner. So it is possible, but you definitely have to be proactive with your finances. So the next thing is, if you're active duty, expect to move every 3, 4, 5 years, like I said. And it is still possible for your spouse to have a full-time job or a career. It depends also on what they do, if there's a high need at your location for his or her services and at the next base as well. If you are reserve or guard, remember, it's up to you if you want to move. You don't have to move all the time. So it's going to provide more stability for your spouse and their career or their job. The other question that I was asked is about military benefits for spouses. They get all the benefits that we as the service member get for the most part. Medical benefits is one. I've heard people say that they're not satisfied with the military medical benefits. I would disagree completely because I think it's great. It's completely free when you're active duty for your family as well, your spouse, your children. The exception is dental. You'll have to pay $30 a month or 30 something dollars a month like I do for my wife and for my daughter. Other than that, it's all taken care of, and I do think it's great. Your ID card that your spouse and dependents get is also eligible for a lot of the programs on base as well. So those are good things. Next thing is, let me give you an example of the medical, going back to that. I have a friend that are expecting their second child later this year. Now he is a reservist in the Air Force, and they're going to spend anywhere between $60 and $80 for the complete bill of their delivery of their second child. Whereas 2 years ago, when they had their first child, and they were civilians, they came out of pocket about $6,000 for the delivery fees of their first baby. When my daughter was born on Maxwell Air Force Base many years ago, 19 years ago, we paid $38. That's it. And that was for the meals. So the medical benefits are good. The best thing that you can do is definitely communicate with your spouse about transition to the next base, about what it is that they want to do. My wife and I agreed when I joined as a E2, one striper in the Air Force 20 years ago, 20 and a half years ago, that she was going to manage the house. She was going to take care of the house, the children, and she's done a great job. That's a big job, and I appreciate it. We actually agreed on doing that. We didn't have to pay childcare because childcare can be expensive. So you have to definitely communicate and do what's best for you as a family. I've had friends where their spouse, he or she, works full-time, and they do have children. So the children go to daycare or the Child Development Center, which is CDC, or somebody watches them and they take care of that. But both spouses work, the military member and the spouse who is a civilian. So I've seen that. I've had other friends who work where it's two individuals, husband and wife, and they don't have any children, so they both work full time and maybe rearrange their plan if they want to have children down the road. That's the topic of the day. Pretty simple. It's a good lifestyle. My wife has always said, I love the military lifestyle. I love the camaraderie that families have. Every time you go somewhere else, you may not know anyone there, but it's just a matter of time when you do. There are many programs on base. For Air Force, Airmen and Family Readiness Center, Army Community Services, Navy Marines, it is Navy Family Support. It's not that, but it's something like that. But there are a lot of programs on base. When you get to your base as a service member and you have a family, definitely take your spouse, your husband or your wife with you to the Right Start program or the Welcome program, because there's a lot of things out there and every base is going to be completely different. The information's there, the programs are there. It's up to you to ask the questions. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, any questions, put them at the bottom. If you have any input that you'd like to share that I may have forgotten, put it at the bottom as well. Take care. Have a great day.